All right, Family Medicine's leading voice in social media. This is the Family Medicine Rocks podcast. My name is Mike Sevilla. And next week, 1 week from today, will be the start for me for the AAFP NCSC meeting, the National Conference of Special Constituencies, one of the largest advocacy meetings for family medicine of the entire year. And I've already talked to some people, and the registration is near record levels, and hopefully be able to reach new attendance records. Mainly because I'm going to be there. Mainly because I'm going to be speaking on social media a week from today, and it's just going to be awesome. It's going to be something people have never seen before. It's going to be something that I can completely hype up and get people very disappointed in my presentation. But now what I'd like to do, I'd like to give you some tips, especially people who are first attending the meeting. These are 5 tips, at least I've counted them in my head. 5 tips on how you can be successful at the NCSC meeting and any kind of policymaking meeting or advocacy meeting, even if you're not in family medicine. I think these tips here will be very beneficial to you. So the first tip how you can be effective at a policy-making meeting, at an advocacy meeting, ask yourself, what are you passionate about? Duh. And I ask that because, for something like family medicine has a wide range of topics, of issues, of things that people are passionate about, things that people are upset about, and you just have to you have to ask yourself, you have to put the mirror up against your face and say, what are you passionate about? It could be, something about policy. It could be something about, being mad or upset at the government. It could be mad or upset at insurance companies or attorneys or any of that type of stuff. Some people, it's clinical issues, things like childhood obesity or women's issues or religious issues or, anything like that. Maybe there's something specifically in your community that you would like to bring up to a national level. You have to ask yourself, you have to look at yourself, your community, your patients, and say, hey, what can I try to change? And bring those issues with you, bring that passion with you. Ask yourself, what do I really want to share with this group? What do I really want to try to articulate? What do I really want to try to express for myself, for my community, and for my patients? And for most people, it's going to be a list of things, which is good. Some people, they bring one issue, which makes themselves one-dimensional. But a lot of people, they bring, a handful of issues. Some things that they're really upset about. Some people, or some issues that they're really passionate about. Some issues that they're so passionate about. Some issues that they're indifferent about. And they bring all those with them. They bring all those with them to a policy-making meeting like this and say, hey, this is kind of where I stand with things. That's the first step. The first step is to ask yourself what you're passionate about. The second step, the second step into having a successful meeting is ask yourself why. Why are you passionate about these? And in this manner, it will help in your mind. It will help in your mind articulate why you feel what you feel. Because if you want to try to persuade somebody, if you want to try to persuade a group of people, if you want to try to persuade, anybody, not only do you have to be passionate about an issue, you have to be able to express it and articulate it in a way that people understand, and that people can at least, understand what you're talking about so they can agree or disagree or ask you for more information. Coming in, just with, some simple ideas, things that you have not, thought out fully, you're not going to be able to convince anybody. You're not going to be able to get anybody on your side if you haven't really sat down, take notes, and spell things out and say, hey, this is why I feel what I feel about this particular issue. So the first step, ask yourself what you're passionate about. The second step, ask yourself why you're passionate about that. The third step people skip usually. The third step is be a good listener. What does that mean? That means that, there's going to be people that agree with you, and there's going to be people that disagree with you. But instead of trying to yell over them, instead of trying to call them names, try to listen what other people are saying, especially the people who are disagreeing with you. And especially at a meeting like this, the NCSC, for the AAFP, I know that's a lot of letters. I'll slow down. But at this NCSC meeting, this is a friendly type of group. We pretty much try to get along, but obviously we do not agree about everything. Because if we did, then it would not be so much fun. We disagree about things. We disagree to some degree about some things. Some people, fervently disagree. Some people are like, I disagree a little bit. But when you talk to people, when you present your case, do it well. But when people are presenting their case, especially if it's something that you don't know much about, or if it's something that you're indifferent about, learn to be a good listener. Good family physicians, like everybody going to this meeting, good family physicians already have this skill. But we can always improve upon this skill, because, when we present our point of view, we're really, excited about it. But we have to step back a little bit when other people are talking and to listen to what they're saying and to try to understand what they're saying. And if you don't understand what they're saying, to ask questions to clarify what they're saying. This goes back to step number 2 for you. Why do you feel the way you feel? And try to flesh out some of these issues, some of these questions in your mind. And that way you will be a more effective delegate. You'll be a more effective person at a meeting. So reviewing, step number 1, be passionate. Ask yourself, what are you passionate about? What are you upset about? Step number 2, why do you feel the way you feel? Which is a big step. Step number 3, be a good listener and listen to what other people are saying. Step number 4, and this is a tough step too. Step number 4, sharpen your point by seeking out people who disagree with you. That's right, I'm saying that. Seek out people who have a different point of view, preferably the opposite point of view that you do, as you are, trying to convince people of this, especially at this policymaking meeting where you're making resolutions, you're writing resolutions. You want to try to anticipate what the questions are going to be, especially people who are diametrically opposed to what you believe in on this issue. And you try to anticipate those questions. You try to prepare answers to those, questions that are going to be coming up. And you do that by looking out for people, by seeking out people who you respect, but who you disagree with or who disagree with you. And like I said before, at this meeting, for the most part, we're all family physicians. There is a mutual respect that we have, toward each other at this meeting. Even if we disagree with somebody on something, I have had a lot of people come up to me at this meeting and other policy and advocacy meetings and say, Mike, I know that you don't agree with this at all, or I know that you don't fully agree with this. You agree with part of this. Help me sharpen my point. Help me present my argument in a little bit, more effective manner. I'm not asking you to agree with me, but I am asking you to help me present my argument the best that I can. So step number 4 is to look for people who disagree with you to try to sharpen your point. So step number 1, ask yourself what you're passionate about. Step number 2, I already forgot. Step number 2, ask yourself why you're passionate about this subject or topic. Step number 3, be a good listener. Step number 4, sharpen your point by asking people who you disagree with to help you with this point, help you sharpen your point, help you make it as best as you can. And of course, number 5, the final step is to have fun. I know it seems like a cop-out, number 5. It seems like I couldn't think of anything else for number 5. No. If people know me, people that know me know that I like to have a good time. I know I like to work hard, but I like to play hard too. And at these meetings, we could sometimes, some people, I've seen it, and we've all seen it at these type of meetings, people just are yelling at each other. People are just like going back and forth. At the end of the session, at the end of the day, we all go out and have dinner or go out and have drinks. And it is just such a good time. So those are the tips. Those are the tips for you to be a successful person at one of these advocacy meetings, at one of these policy making meetings, is to ask yourself, number 1, what are you passionate about? Number 2, why are you passionate about this issue? Number 3, be a good listener. Number 4, sharpen your point by seeking out people who disagree with you to try to help your point, to help you try to present your argument a little bit better. And of course, number 5, have a lot of fun. And I'm going to have a lot of fun next week at this NCSC meeting. So we're going to take a break. And topic 2 is your AAFP news briefing. Just a couple of stories, 1 or 2, maybe a few stories coming up right after the break. You're listening to the Family Medicine Rocks podcast live here on a Wednesday night here on the Blog Talk Radio Network. My name is Mike Sevilla, and we'll be right back.